Hey, Grand Ascension, everyone. It's me, Nisi, back to do another video. Uploaded a couple videos yesterday, which was Monday, May the 26th, over on YouTube and over on Facebook. So I'm back to do another recording. I want to get right into Navigator Across the Ice Walls Part 2. And do you remember when up to now, the captain was rescued by a extraterrestrial craft, took him back to Laurentia, and he's dealing with several different beings, the Magri and also the ancestral human. And then he also met Anakin Giant and the Venetians. Okay, so he's meeting different people, and now he's wanting to meet Helen, which is William Morris's daughter. Right, she was born there in the ancestral republic beyond the ice walls. So very interesting. So my thing is, when you listen to these stories and you listen to what Claudio has to state, right? My thing is yes, there are people or beings that are here from other lands. It's just the contact, the contact and the specifics. Since they're doing delicate work, and so many of them have came into these lands and some have passed, okay? And then there are some who still work behind the scenes. My point is that Claudio is getting a lot of information, and some would say it's fantastical, unbelievable, it's made up, it's fictional. My thing is, search your heart, search your mind, fast, meditate. Some will say prayer. I say meditation. Same thing. You will become more knowledgeable in these things, because my point is, when you ask for a thing, you receive it. Okay. If you're serious about it and you really want to know the truth, you will find out, right? Just like I share a lot of stories, some would call it creepy pasta, right? Creepy pasta. And I truly know that there are things that walk among us that are not like us, right? So, you can wrap it up and say, okay, well, there's, you share a lot of stuff from Missing 411, a lot of stuff from Lilith and Donovan Dredd, and some other narrators. How do you know this is real, Nisi? I can tell you because I've prayed on it, I've meditated, I fasted, and I know that the discernment is there. I have that discernment. I've known since I was a child that we were never alone. It's no question about me. It's no question from me. The issue is you have a lot of trash that's mangled in with the truth, and that is done intentionally to keep people distracted and to keep people away from discovering the truth about themselves and the truth about what this is, right? So I'm just sharing some information from you all. It's up to you to do your own research. As I've always said, I'm not here for everybody. I'm just here for a few key people, right? And we're going to keep it pushing. So I'm going to get back into the reading. We're going to start at chapter 17, the journey to the ancestral lands. And this is the place that I want to go. I want to go to the ancestral republic, and I want to spend my days reading about reading about the wars, reading about the other races. I want to learn their customs. I want to learn things that will benefit me in my development of self, spiritually and energetically, right? I'm learning to let go of these things on this side of the dome, right? All right. We then set off from the coast of Laurentia, embarking on an extensive journey toward the so-called ancestral lands. According to Hatton and the large map that appeared on the screen in the main cabin, although written in his native language, okay, we would be crossing the ancient lands of Anak, which I would have loved to explore, but we needed to sail south as quickly as possible, cross the Tartarus Ocean, and I would love to go to the Anak. I would too, and I would like to meet some of the giants. I would. We first passed by lands known as Lemuria, which I had seen from afar when the Magri rescued me. But this time we sailed close enough for me to see great lights and tall structures built into the mountains. It sounds beautiful. Hatton mentioned that there was a giant human named Shaki, who had traveled and settled in Lemuria for a long time to study the connections and tunnels running underground, all in preparation for her ultimate mission, the final journey to Asgard. Was she able to complete her journey? I asked, astonished. Shaki departed some time ago, but we haven't received any news from her so far, Hatton replied, without offering further details. Hatton then went out to speak with part of the crew, while others carried out various tasks. Many of them were using devices I had never seen before, state-of-the-art stuff. Most of them emitting the same blue light I had seen on their arms earlier. So, and the 3D wristwatch. Since they couldn't communicate with me and didn't seem particularly interested in doing so, I quietly retreated to one of the cabins, for lack of a better word. They were enormous, and once inside, they somehow felt even larger than they had appeared from the outside. Before leaving me, Hatton had handed me a set of pages bound together, resembling a book like the ones back home. He told me it was something Riz wanted me to have. Okay. Clearly, Riz had gone through the trouble of attempting to translate parts of the ancestral native texts. Although some sections were difficult to fully understand, I could read and at least attempt to interpretate them. This is what I'm talking about, y'all. This is what I'm talking about. Knowledge. The book was also filled with images and maps detailing 178 dome worlds. Author's note: the translations of the Book of Creation will be found in the final chapters of this very book, serving a summary of these texts and those preserved in the great ancestral library of the lands known as the Ark. And this is a map, and I'm going to hold this up if you guys want to take a screenshot of it. Chief and Rondo and T, I know you guys probably have this book already, but I just wanted to share it over here for some of the folks that may still not have subscribed to Rondo or Chief Red Wolf's page. I think T. Hine has a page. I have to go back and see if I'm subscribed to him. But we all support each other. Westside, Camiro. Camiro had a great live last night. I fell asleep to his live, but I listened for probably about 30 minutes and I knocked out. But Navi Poet, I think she had a live over the weekend, but I wasn't able to listen to it. So I'm going to go back to it today while I'm doing some crocheting. And so, again, just please support everyone. I know Millennial's been dropping little clips here and there, and I've been checking those out and commenting. And, this is a community where we support each other, right? So let's get into we read chapter 17, okay? So now we're into 18, the ancient lands of Anak, all right? After an extensive journey while crossing lands Hatton had referred to as the ancient lands of Anak, something unexpected happened, something that they chose not to explain to me, but we were forced to make an emergency stop in these lands. Truth be told, far from bothering me, it felt like a unique opportunity to witness these mythical lands with my own eyes, right? Because this was an unplanned stop, and given the urgency, our ship had to anchor about 200 meters from the shore, okay, as there was no harbor large enough to accommodate a vessel of such a magnitude. We had to disembark using several small boats, similar to the ones I had first seen when I encountered the Magri. We walked through a dense forest until we reached a clearing where a massive fire was consuming much of a small, though advanced village. Around 6 erroneous shadows seemed to rise directly from the flames, giants walking toward us with firm, thunderous steps, each step shaking the very trees around us. Could they be the descendants of Anak? I wondered silently. There was no time for questions now. The situation was too delicate. The fire was engulfing the forest and village, as its center was a dark sphere, burning with a bright crimson glow. The giants spoke with Haddon and the others, pointing towards the burning sphere. Later, I would learn that the village had suffered an attack from the sea, though the exact perpetrators were unknown. Probably Anaki ships, one of the Magri muttered grimly. We helped the giants as best we could, though their technology was more than capable of restoring the area. Sadly, 2 beings had perished, and the entire village was drowning in sorrow. Haddon informed me that an investigation would be launched into the attack, and they would also alert the ancestrals as soon as we reached their shores. At that moment, I finally understood the severity of the war, not only in my lands of origin, which is here, in these known lands here, okay, what we want to call Earth or whatever you want to call it, okay, we're within the ice walls, okay, but also inside the second dome. The gravity of the situation was suffocating, and the giants of Anak were truly furious. So much so, they immediately launched several ships, striking through the sky at speeds I had never imagined. The ships were crimson red, leaving a trail of the same fiery color as they tore across the sky, heading straight for the ocean, hunting for whatever was responsible for the attack. Now, he has this as an animation, okay? So I'm going to show you this. Okay. So then it says, one of the giants led us to an underground structure descending via a metallic elevator. There, an enormous hidden city unfolded before my eyes, home to about 18,000 giants, according to the figures Hatton provided. Can you guys imagine that? I'm 5'5". I'm just going to tell you, I'm a short little roly thing. Though I am trying to, all right, now, let me say this correctly. I am attempting to lose weight by making better choices and getting more steps in and doing workouts here at my house in my home gym. I am going to lose the weight again, but this time the key is not taking any pharmaceuticals, and I'm going to do it the right way. Okay. So that's my point. Every time I take pharmaceuticals, I gain it right back after I get off of them. So even if I do continue to exercise, I still gain it back. So anyway, a little tidbit about me. So anyway, I'm 5'5", and I grew up with my cousins, my mom's first set of cousins, which would be my second set of cousins, in on my grandmother's. Okay, so there's 4 sets of twins, right? Twins run heavily in my family, 4 sets. One of the sets of twins is my grandmother, okay? My grandmother and her twin, okay? They both had children, obviously. And it's would be considered my mother's first cousin and my second cousin. But it's my great aunt's sons, who are, one of them played in the NBA. Not going to mention his name. He's very famous. He actually raised me. He's tall and his sons are tall. I believe my cousin, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think he's maybe 6'7" or 6'9". He's in between. I mean, he's tall. He's very, very tall. My other cousins, they're right at probably like 6'3", 6'4", 6'5", right in there, right? They're tall. So I'm the short one. My mom was 4'11" or 4'10". I think my mom was 4'10", and she weighed 95 pounds. And she just had a little belly pooch. She wasn't big at all. She had 8 babies. My baby brother, he passed away, so I'm the baby girl, hence the name. And she was very tiny, and my dad was tall. So my dad, I think, was 6 foot. So I'm just saying. So I'm in between. I'm 5'5", I'm sure. And actually, I say I'm 5'5". I might be 5'4". I say 5'5.5". Okay, let's just say 5'6". I'm going up. I'm 5'6", but when I put heels on, I'm like 5'8". So, okay, I'm just going to say that. So my point is, I would love to meet. I've always been fascinated with taller people. I always have been, because I grew up with people who were tall, and I would always look up at them, especially when I was getting my ass whooped. When I would catch a swat on the tail, right, for doing something that I shouldn't be doing, the punishment. But I would always look up at them and go with my mouth open like that. And I'll probably still do that today when I meet meet an Anunnaki giant. I'll probably just be like this. Deer in the headlights. All right, enough of me. Enough of my animation. You guys, I'm crazy, right? So we see the ships that fly off in the attack. They're going to look for whatever attacked them in the ocean, right? So they say one of the giants led us to an underground structure, descending via a metallic elevator. There, an enormous hidden city unfolded before our eyes, home to 18,000 giants, according to the figures Hatton had provided. Here we are safe, Hatton stated firmly, trying to ease the overwhelming sense of danger after witnessing the giants' desperation for their families. Okay, I felt somewhat calmer, though seeing these attacks firsthand gave me a new understanding, a stark reality check. I now realize we were in the middle of an active war zone, and we had to be prepared for anything. And a cautionary thing, I know that at my age and even younger folks, we all need to stay physically fit, and we need to be ready at any time. Like right now, I couldn't run a whole mile without stopping. Seriously. I'm at the point now where I want to be better than I was the day before. So I am making provisions and making changes for that. My key thing is to share information with you guys, share these accounts and these readings, explore some topics, and we work together on ascending, because I realize that is the only way to escape from this realm. Okay, honestly. And it says, next page, Hatton explained that the attacks like these were common in various parts of the lands of Anak, especially because this was a heavily transit zone due to the passage behind the second ice walls, known as the membrane portal. Okay. And this is a picture of one of the giants with a robe. Check this out. And just like over there, I know that there are different races. They're not all pale skin with red hair. They're not. I just, because we're not. That's just common sense, right? All right. So it says that passage was frequently used by the Anunnaki and custodial ships, either flying through the skies or sailing through the waters, often launching attacks along the way. However, it has been a long time since the last attack, which was why the giants had built a small village on the surface. Typically, their race is known for constructing massive subterranean fortresses far from aerial threats. Where does these membranes portal lead to? Where does this membrane portal lead to? The lands you'll find beyond the second barrier are Atos and Argos, two vast continents. And over here, I've read the different 178 worlds and the description and the breakdown of the beings within those worlds. Some are under custodial control, and then some are not, right? And it says, the land you'll find beyond the second barrier are Atos and Argos, two vast continents, Hatton replied. But that passage is often used to access the land of Mars, a place of extreme colonization where many species have been forcibly relocated, okay? Are the lands of Mars also under custodial Anunnaki control, I asked. That's correct, Tyler Hatton confirmed. Mars is entirely controlled by the colonizing forces. In fact, despite being part of the same network, the Orion Greys also hold certain privileges there, like they do here in this land. The humans who live there are prisoners, a punishment they pay for having betrayed their own race during ancient conflicts. However, we have managed to help many escape, as the current generation is unjustly paying the price for the crimes of their ancestors. All right, we're going to read chapter 19, the waters above, okay? We're getting into it. Check this out, you guys. And this is our space. It's the waters. Check it out. All right. The waters above. After a brief rest and after helping to carry some supplies from the giants to their underground bases, while marveling at the sight of very tunnels they had carved with my own eyes, one of the Anak giants, who introduced himself as, let me see if I can say this right, Taruk El, was one of the few who, despite everything that had happened on these islands, approached me and asked me to accompany him to a summit of a distant valley that barely peeked over the horizon. There, he said, I would be able to witness something truly unique. Hatton nodded in approval. He gave me okay, mentioning that once we returned, we would finally depart for the ancestral lands. With that assurance, I accepted the invitation and we set off on foot towards the mysterious valley draped in a strange vegetation, long vines cascading down the cliffs like hanging curtains. You guys, the level of fruit that we had here before this last great reset is unbelievable. There's fruits out there that I've never tasted, obviously never heard of. Can you imagine what the fruit is like past the past the known lands, past the Antarctic ice walls? I want to show you guys something really quick, not to get off the topic. I bought these seeds. Shout out to Chief Red Wolf. I put them in this bag, but these are the let me see if I can say it right. The seeds taste like cotton candy. Okay, what are they called? It's labeled red guava on the top, and I have the I think it's called Madri Garden. But this plant grows like a cottony kind of texture, and it tastes like cotton candy. Okay, so I'm gonna plant these in my yard once we finish the one back wall back there. When we finish putting the fence up, I'm gonna plant those there. I have 20 seeds, so I'm gonna be able to plant that and then harvest some more. So shout out to Chief Red Wolf. But there are a couple of different plants and bushes that I purchased that I'm going to put out there, because I'm literally going to turn it into a magical garden out back, a fairy garden with vegetation. I have dragonflies here, and I want to bring in dragonflies, butterflies, and bees. Okay, even though I'm allergic to bees, I still want the bees to be out there, and I want them to pollinate the plants. All right, that's my point. So anyway, they're walking, right? So he said, Thurak L didn't speak English fluently, but we were able to communicate enough to hold a conversation. When we reached the top of the valley, Thurak L said, Traveler, have you seen the false skies the custodians project over your world? Now, it's time to speak of what lies above them, something they can never touch nor control, the upper waters. Oh my God, y'all heard that? The upper waters. That's the picture I just showed you guys. Isn't that beautiful? Oh my God. I gazed upward, searching the sky, but all I could see was the same endless blue. Thurak L then continued, Sometimes you must learn to see with different eyes, and you, my dear human, will have no trouble seeing it. But you must first lift the veil the colonizers have placed upon you. Otherwise, you will only see what they have programmed you to see. The conditioning of an entire life under the false projection dome from inside your lands will cling to you for quite some time. That is why we will use these lights of Om. He then knelt near the cliff's edge and activated a set of intensely bright blue lights, which seemed to pierce the deepest heavens. When I looked again, I'm not sure how or why, and perhaps I'll never know, but suddenly the clear blue sky I had been gazing tore open, like a fabric being ripped apart, and the firmament gave way to a celestial dance of oceans above. Oh my God. Can you guys just picture an ocean above your head? Almost like walking in an aquarium where you have water above your head. There's an ocean, okay? And it says, it was something so beautiful, so utterly beyond description, far more profound than any aurora I have ever witnessed back in my homeland. When Thurak El saw my eyes filling with tears, he said, Above the dome, beyond the projection of stars and suns, lies an immense ocean, a sea not of this world, yet it connects all worlds. It is the current of souls, the place where the rivers of the source reflect and flow toward the heavenly lands. It is an ocean you cannot sail with ships nor cross with any physical vessel, for its nature is not physical, it is essential. Wow. And look at that. I don't know about y'all, but that's freaking beautiful. It's freaking absolutely amazing. I can't even put it into words. I can only picture it in my mind's eye, what it's like. After this profound, almost incomprehensible experience, and after seeing with my own eyes the upper waters themselves, we returned to the coastal area, ready to resume our journey. Once back, Hatton was already waiting for me, somehow aware of what I had just witnessed, but choosing to remain silent. And so we departed at last, heading toward the long-awaited ancestral lands. Check this out. That is amazing. And I'm going to wrap it up here. I've got to stop there. I just wanted to share these readings with you. So we read 17, The Journey to the Ancestral Lands. We read chapter 18, the ancient lands of Anak, okay, where they were attacked and where they sent up the ships to go scan the waters. And then chapter 19, the waters above. That is by far one of the most beautiful things that I could ever imagine us seeing. I would love to see the waters above. As I read this, I have overwhelming emotion coming to me, and it's like it's not fair for us to live the life that we're living, right? It's not. There is so much more out there than we've been shown. We're limited in this spectrum, and it's bullshit, and it makes me angry, and it makes me want to fight back against these custodians. This is a vessel, yet I know I will live on because I have energy. I am an energy being, a sentient being. We all are, and we deserve to know the truth, right? We deserve to live a different life. Our lands here, chemicals, the land, the soil, the water, the air, Everything we breathe is poisoned, and it's poisoned by these beings. We have other beings that live in the national park that they attempt to hide from the custodians. Some have been placed there by the custodians, true enough, and are captured and are utilized in evil, sadistic ways. And then there are some that just want to be free and want to live a life, but they are trapped in this dome world. You know what I mean? So I feel like for me, this has been a eye-opening experience to me. Star Wars, I said to my brother Derry, was not a it was a documentary, right? It is what the world is like truly. Our true world is like, with many different races, many different class of beings, and we are all connected by the Great Spirit. Yet these Draconians and these other factions, the Edamans, the Greys, these beings from Orion, the Anunnaki, certain factions of them, I'm telling you, they have manipulated our world so much that they have placed these Zionists in key positions of power all around the world. When you speak of these things, people look at you like you have 10 eyes on the top of your forehead. Like you're just like, slow motion that. That's how they look at you. Seriously. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me for a few minutes this morning. Let me read to you. I'm going to come back. I'm going to finish this book up with you guys. When I come back, we're going to get into chapter 20. Time has passed. And then I'm going to try to do 3 more chapters of that. Probably get to 23, the ancestral life. There's some beautiful depictions in this book, and I really want to get through this. I tried to reach out to Claudio before. He has not responded. I do not know if he's here in these known lands or if he's beyond the ice walls. I have no idea. I would assume he's here, but you know what they say, assumptions are like butts, and everybody has one. So I don't know, but hopefully one day I will get to meet him and meet some of the ancestral humans. And I truly would like to go beyond the ice walls. Like I said, I say it in every video now. I don't want to be here. Though I know it's unfair for what they have done to us, but I want to ascend and I want to move on. And I want to be able to see the waters above. I want to be able to see all of the beautiful things that they've hidden from us, So anyway, I hope you guys have an amazing day. Remember what I always say, be the change you want to see all around this earth dome, because it's up to you and I to make a positive change. When I come back, we're going to discuss ascension. I've got some things I want to read to you, and I want to point some things out in Harry B. Joseph's The Book of Wisdom. I'll talk to you guys soon.